Hello everyone, welcome back to part 3 of chapter 2 Money and Banking. In the last class we learned about functions of money and supply of money. We understood that money supply includes currency with the public and deposits that people can use for making payments. But today I am going to ask you a question that many adults find difficult. Imagine the Reserve Bank of India wants to know how much money is available in Indian economy today. Do you think there is just one answer? Or could there be different answers, depending on what we include? Let's understand with an example. Suppose I ask you, how much water do you have at home? You might answer 20 liters. But then I ask, are you counting only water in bottles or also water in overhead tanks? Your answer changes. Then I ask, what about the water stored in underground tank? Then the answer changes. The amount of water depends on what we decide to include. Exactly the same thing happens with money. Some money is in people's wallet, some is in their savings account, some is in fixed deposits, some is in post office deposits. So economists called and created different measures of money supply, depending on which form of money they want to include. These measures are called M1, M2, M3 and M4. So now don't worry if these names sound a little confusing. By the end of the lesson, you will exactly know what each measures include, why do we have 4 different measures, which one of the following is the most important for CBSE exam, and how to remember them without memorizing long definitions. Also, we will study about a fascinating concept called high-powered money, often known as monetary base. This is the money created by Reserve Bank of India and it acts like the foundation of entire banking system. So, keep your notebooks ready because today's class is one of the important classes in the whole chapter. Now, let's answer the biggest question. Why did economists create 4 different measures of money supply? Why not just one? Imagine you are a school principal. You want to know how many students are there in your school. One teacher counts only the students present today. Another counts all the students who are officially enrolled. A third teacher also includes students participating in an educational tour. All 3 answers are correct, but each is measuring something slightly different. The same idea applies to money. Not all money is equally easy to spend. For example, the 500 rupees in your wallet can be spent immediately. The money in your saving account can be spent almost immediately using UPI, a debit card or a check. But what about a fixed deposit? You usually cannot use it directly to pay at a grocery shop. It is still money, but it is less liquid than cash. This introduces us a very important word in economics, liquidity. You must have heard this word in accountancy also. Liquidity means how quickly an asset can be converted into cash or used for making payments without losing the value. Cash has the highest liquidity. Demand deposits are also highly liquid. Time deposits are less liquid because they are meant to remain in the bank for a fixed period. Instead of mixing all these together, economics group them into different categories. These categories are called M1, M2, M3 and M4. As we move from M1 to M4, we gradually include more types of money. So think of these measures like different sized boxes. First box is small, next box is bigger, then bigger again, and finally the biggest one. We'll now open each box one by one. Now let's begin with the first measure, M1. This is the most important measure to understand because it contains the forms of money that people can use almost immediately. M1 is also called as narrow money. Many students wonder why narrow? Because it includes only most liquid forms of money. Let's look at first 3 components. First, currency with the public. It means the notes and coins that people actually hold. For example, if you have 500 rupees in your wallet, this is a part of M1. Second, demand deposit with the banks. Suppose your salary is credited to your savings account. Can you use it immediately through UPI, a debit card or a check? Of course, yes. Since you can access it on demand, it is called as demand deposit and it is also included in M1. Third, other deposits with RBI. These are deposits that certain institutions keep with the Reserve Bank of India. For class 12, you only need to remember that they are included in M1. We don't go into detailed institutional examples at this level. Now let's take a simple example. Imagine 4,000 rupees in your wallet. 20,000 rupees in your savings account, a small eligible deposit with the RBI as defined in the syllabus. All these together form M1. Now notice something important. M1 does not include fixed deposit. Why? Because fixed deposits are not meant for immediate spending. That's why M1 is called most liquid measure of money supply. So if the exam asks why is M1 called narrow money, right? Because it's only include the most liquid form of money that are readily available for making payments. That one sentence is very important. We'll see in the next slides how M2, M3 and M4 gradually become broader by adding more types of deposits. Now that we have understood M1, let's move to the next measure, M2. I want you to imagine 4 boxes. The first box was M1. Now we are taking a slightly bigger box. Instead of moving or removing anything from M1, we simply add one more type of money. That gives us M2. So remember, this is very important. M2 already contains everything that is included in M1. Nothing is removed. We only add one extra component. That extra component is saving deposit with post office savings bank. Let's understand why. In India, many people, especially in rural areas, save money in post office account instead of commercial banks. Can they withdraw this money? Yes. Can they use it when they require? Yes. Since this money is available to the public, economists include while calculating M2. Let's take a simple example. Suppose currency with the public 5,000, demand deposit 20,000, other deposit with the RBI 1,000. These together makes M1. Now imagine you also have 15,000 in a post office savings account. Do we create a completely new formula? No, we simply add this amount to M1. That becomes M2. See how easy it is. The important thing is not to memorize the formula. Instead, remember the idea. Every new measure includes the previous one, then add something extra. Many students forget the words like saving deposits and simply write post office deposits. That is incorrect. For M2, remember specifically savings deposits with post office savings bank. Always write the complete term. Now we come to the most important measure of CBSE board exam, that is M3. If you remember only one measure perfectly, let it be M3. Why? Because in India, economists and policymakers commonly use M3 while studying money supply. Now let's understand the formula. M3 includes everything in M1. Then we add one more important component, time deposits with commercial bank. Now you may ask, what exactly is a time deposit? Think about a fixed deposit. Suppose your parent invests 1 lakh in an FD for 1 year. Can they normally use that money tomorrow to buy groceries? No. The money is kept in the bank for a fixed period. That's why it is called a time deposit. Unlike saving accounts, these deposits are less liquid, but they are still a form of money because they belong to public. That's why they are included in M3. Now let's compare. Your saving account can be used today through UPI. Your fixed deposit cannot usually be used instantly for payments. So saving deposits are more liquid than time deposits. Now remember something interesting. M3 is called broad money because it covers a broad range of money than M1. Think of M1 as a small basket. M3 is much larger basket because it includes time deposit too. So whenever you see a question asking which measure of money is widely used in India, the answer is M3 or broad money. Underline this point in your exam. It is frequently tested in school exams. Finally, we reach the largest measure of money supply, M4. By now, you already know the pattern. Each new measures take the previous one and add something extra. So M4 begins with M3. Then it adds all deposits with the post office except National Savings Certificates, NSC. Why are NSCs excluded? At the CBSE class 12 level, you only need to remember the exception. You are not expected to study the detailed policy reasons. The point is, M4 includes the widest range of deposits among all 4 measures. Think of 4 school bags. Each new bag is bigger than the previous one. M1 is the smallest. M2 is bigger. M3 is even bigger. M4 is the biggest. That's exactly how these measures work. So don't confuse M2 and M4. M2 includes only saving deposits with post office. M4 includes all post office deposits except NSC. That one difference is extremely important. Let's revise all four measures together. Don't try to memorize four separate formulas. Instead, remember the pattern. Every new measure becomes broader by adding one more category of deposits. Think of Russian nesting dolls or four boxes placed one inside another. M1 is the smallest and contains the most liquid form of money. M2 takes M1 and adds post office saving deposits. M3 takes M1 and adds time deposits with commercial bank. This is measure you will see most often in India. M4 takes M3 and adds almost all remaining post office deposits except NSC. Now I'll give you a quick revision trick. Imagine you are climbing stairs. With every step you carry one more bag. The higher you go, the more money is included. So the measure becomes broader as you move from M1 to M4. Remember these three facts: M1 narrow money, M3 broad money, and M4 broadest money. So if you remember only these keywords along with basic formulas, you will be able to answer most board questions confidently. Now let's study one of the important topic in this chapter, high-powered money. The name sounds difficult, doesn't it? When students hear first high-powered money, they often imagine something special or magical. But once they understand the idea, it's very simple. Let me ask you a question. Imagine you are building a house. What's the first thing that is built? The walls, the roofs, the windows? No. The first thing is foundation. Without a strong foundation, the entire house becomes weak. Similarly, every country's money supply also has a foundation. That foundation is called high-powered money. Now the next question is, who creates this foundation? Does your local bank print currency notes? No. Does your school print 500 rupees note? Of course not. The only institution in India which is authorized to issue currency notes, and that is called as Reserve Bank of India or RBI. Because RBI creates this base money, it is called high-powered money or monetary base. Think of RBI as the source from which money enters in the banking system. From there, commercial bank uses this money to provide banking services and support the creation of additional deposits through lending, which you will study in the topic of credit creation. So high-powered money is also called as high-powered because it forms the base on which the entire money supply is built. Now let's understand the formula. H is equals to C plus R. C stands for currency in circulation. These are the notes or coins that are circulating in the economy. R stands for reserves maintained by commercial banks with the RBI. Commercial banks keep a part of their money with RBI as reserves. When we add currency in circulation and bank reserves, we get high-powered money. So don't write high-powered money is all the money in the economy. That is incorrect. It is the base money created by the RBI, not the total money supply. Let's now understand the two parts of high-powered money in detail. First component, currency in circulation. This includes the currency notes and coins that are moving through the economy. For example, when you withdraw 2000 from ATM and keep it in your wallet, that money is now circulating. People use it to buy goods, pay bills or travel. Now let's look at the second component, bank reserves. Commercial banks do not lend all the money they receive. They keep a part of it as reserve. Some of these reserves are maintained with RBI. Why? Because these reserves help maintain confidence in the banking system and enable banks to meet regulatory requirements. You don't need to memorize every technical detail at this stage. Just remember that these reserves are an important part of high-powered money. Now think of water tank. The RBI is like the main water tank supplying water. Commercial banks are like smaller tanks connected to it. The reserves kept with the RBI ensures the entire system keeps functioning smoothly. That's why both currency in circulation and bank reserves together make high-powered money. Students often confuse high-powered money with money supply. Let's remove that confusion today. Think of baking a cake. The flour is not the cake, but without the flour you cannot make the cake. Similarly, high-powered money is the base from which broader money supply develops. High-powered money is created by RBI. Money supply refers to the money available with the public for spending. Commercial bank plays an important role in connecting the two. Using the reserves provided by RBI, banks accept deposits and provide loan. This expands the amount of money that people can use. So don't think of this as identical concepts. One is the foundation, the other is the money circulating among people and businesses. So if asked to differentiate, write at least 2 clear points: who creates it and what it represents. Let's revise today's lesson. We started by asking why economists use different measures of money supply. Then we learned M1 is narrow money and contains the most liquid form of money. M2 builds on M1 by adding saving deposits with post office. M3 is broad money and most commonly used measure in India. M4 is the broadest measure because it includes additional post office deposits. Finally, we studied high-powered money, which is monetary base created by RBI. If you remember the order M1 to M2 plus M3 to M4 and then understand that high-powered money is the foundation created by RBI, you will find the topic much easier. Congratulations, you have completed one of the most important concept-based topics in money and banking chapter. Many students find M1, M2, M3, M4 and high-powered money confusing. But if you have followed the examples and flowcharts in this lesson, you now understand not just the formulas but the logic behind them. Before you leave, here's a quiz for today. Which measure of money supply is called broad money? Comment your answer below. Don't just write the option, write the name as well. If the video helped you, please like it, share it with your classmates and subscribe to the channel. In the next class, we will begin commercial banks and functions of commercial banks, where you will learn how bank accepts deposits, provide loans and play a vital role in the economy. Thanks for watching. Keep revising and I'll see you in the part 4. Till then, take care, study well. Bye bye.